Hey guys, it's Danae. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing my April reading wrap up as well as my May TBR all rolled into one video. So let's get into it. Some of these books I'm going to talk about, you might have seen on my mini reviews that I put on my YouTube shorts. I do a lot of my reviews there just on YouTube shorts. There are 2 minute reviews that just kind of tell a little bit about the book that I'm reading. But I read 8 books this month. Okay. I think I shopped for like 9 or 10, but I made it to 8. So first up, Blood Marks. I finished this. I did this as a buddy read with my girls, and we've been having a good time doing the Legendborn cycle together. And then next month, we are going to wrap up the cycle. So this was amazing, 5-star read. And I actually enjoyed this even better than Legendborn, which I didn't think was possible, but the history, the ancestors, the memory walks, Bree's power in here, the love triangle, the little romance, this one was everything. So if you have not read the Legendborn cycle yet, definitely recommend you to read it. So far, this has been one of my favorite fantasy series, and I think it's going to stay in the top spot. So glad that I finally gave this series a chance. And this one and Legendborn, well, no, this can't count for that, but Legendborn was one of my favorite books of quarter 1. And so I know that this is going to be a top for quarter 2 for me. And then I read Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. This was another great read for me. Now, I could be biased because I love some Abby Jimenez. She is one of my autobi authors. I know there was some criticism on this one about how, the long distance and most of the relationship and most of the book, they were apart. A lot of people seem to have issue with the Akatar references. I've never read Akatar. I don't really plan to. So I realized that they were references just based on the context of the book and the context in which it was used, but it didn't bother me at all. It didn't bother me. I don't know, but it stuck out like a sore thumb to some people, and they seem to be really bothered by it, but not for me. And again, I don't know if this is because I have not read Akatar, but I just didn't really think that it was a big deal. But apparently that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And then some people even did not like, a lot of the modern and present day references and social media references used within the book. I didn't mind them. I enjoyed how Samantha and Xavier, they did what they had to do to fight for their relationship. They knew it was pretty much insta love, and normally I don't like insta love, but I feel like it was more of a when you know type of situation. They met each other, they went on that first date, and instantly they knew that they had something special. And I like that they took the time and the dedication that they needed to do to really explore their relationship, despite being on opposite sides of the country, despite having other more important things going on in their life. Samantha also had a mother dealing with dementia in this. So we have uh, that whole aspect of how it feels to have a family member, be a daughter when your mom is going through dementia and she doesn't remember you. What struggles do you have while going through that? What struggles do the family have as a whole? And so we were able to watch that whole dynamic. So I thoroughly enjoyed this book. But again, I like Abby's writing, and I don't know. I haven't read anything by her that I disliked yet. Next up, we have Our Infinite Fates by who's this by Laura Steven. So I saw so many reviews on this, rave reviews on this, and so I am going to be a little bit of an outlier here. While I thought that this book was good, it wasn't like great or mind blowing or anything to me. I think it was supposed to be, beautiful, emotional story, but I think that it had the possibility and it had the potential, but the execution just really wasn't there for me. I so this is about reincarnation, right? Reincarnation and soul ties. Now, initially, I was confused reading on early in the book because it jumps back between different time periods. So it's like different centuries and different countries. So they might be in, I don't know. I can't even begin to think of one of the countries they were in. They were all over the world, and it just went through different time periods, 1400s, 1600s, but it spent a lot of time in the current day time, which was 2022. So it spent a lot of time in Wells 2022, and the whole premise of the book is the FMC Ren. She is killed by her literal soulmate every 18 years on her 18th birthday. And I was confused at first because I'm like, okay, well, what's going on now? Why is she a boy? And I didn't understand initially that, oh, okay, this is reincarnation. So they each, every time she dies, so every time she's killed, they're reincarnated into different beings. So their souls are there, but they're in a different vessel, a different body. And so that's why sometimes she's a boy, sometimes Arden, the MMC, sometimes he's a girl, sometimes it's girl on girl, sometimes boy on boy together. And so initially I didn't understand that, but then I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. They were supposed to be like soulmates and have just like this, you know, deep, profound love for each other. But honestly, I felt like they were mostly enemies throughout most of the book and maybe friends at best. I think that maybe if we spent a little bit more time on the past locations and past centuries where they were together, building up that relationship, then it would have seemed a little bit more believable for me. But I didn't really feel like they had that, emotional, like I'm in love with you connection that they tried to play up. It just wasn't believable to me. So I didn't fall in love with them as a couple, nor with them as individuals. Um, yeah, yeah. They throughout most of the book, they just felt like more enemies to me. I think they, of course, they were soul tied, and for all the book, I'm like, why is he doing this? Why does he have to murder her? Why is this going on? And it took about 80, maybe 90% of reading through the book to then get the answer on why this was happening. So, it was an okay book. I think if I had to rate this, I would rate it to 3.75, but it wasn't like one of those 5-star reads for me. It wasn't a read where I'm telling everybody, oh, go read this book. It was just all right. um I think that I did like the ending and the way things tied up, but yeah, overall just not really what I was expecting based on the reviews that I heard. And I mean, that's okay. Everything's not going to be for you, and it's not that this book wasn't for me. I just was underwhelmed. Then we have this one here. This is an indie book called Sleeping with Deception, by an indie author. She reached out to me to read her book, and I hoped this would land for me, but it just didn't land for me in the way that I hoped it would and thought it would. I think that many people might enjoy this, but I think for me, there was like a hidden trope in here that, you don't sometimes know the tropes until you start reading. There was a trope in here that I just don't vibe with at all as a trope and in life. I also thought that the FMC in here was kind of weak, gullible, naive, easily manipulated. And I hate reading books when women are like easily manipulated by men or just weak and don't set boundaries. That turns me off. And so I think my not loving this was probably just a personal thing for me. I like more stronger women. Now, I think that, women, everyone has had an experience where they've probably been like stupid for a man or something, but um I'm just not at a stage where I want to read about women being naive and misled by men and allowing the misleading to continue on and not setting boundaries for themselves and not like putting their foot down. So I think that this will be like a great lifetime movie. Certainly will be a great lifetime movie. I think it is action packed. It's a book filled with suspense and lust, but I thought it was it was definitely insta love. Also more of a like slow burn type of reader. So we have Carrie, the FMC, and she's pretty much moving and she's starting over after the death of her sister. She moves to New York. She has a new job, new friends, and she's trying to find new love. And she runs into Alex, who's this mysterious man, but he's everything that she would want and could want. They start to date, and she falls head over heels for him. I mean, nose wide open for this man. And Alex may not be who we think he is and who she thinks he is. So that's a little bit of the premise. And shortly after meeting him, she starts to experience vandalism at her job, at her home. She starts getting cryptic messages. And so shortly after, he enters her life. So it's kind of like a little mystery and suspense in here as well. So some people absolutely love reading books like that. And I think that this would be great for those thrill seekers. And I'm not quite done with this one, but since I started in the month of April, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. And that is Deep End. I am, what chapter am I on? I'm on chapter 40 in this one, and I started it in April. I'm doing this as a buddy read, so we're just going through it slowly. We read like every night, like 9:30, and so we stop around 11. So we get through as much as we can within that time period. So I'm not yet done with it, but I think I should be done with this probably by Saturday or so. And even though I'm 40 chapters in, I can't say that I like it just yet. Initially, I started reading this along with the audio because I love doing immersive reading, and I could not stand the narrator. And I think that was also an issue I had with Bride because I did not really like Bride either. I thought it was boring, but I also did that as an immersive read. And so now I'm wondering if maybe the narrators for Allie's books just aren't for me. And so after chapter 16, I ditched the audio, and it's been much more enjoyable for me because there was a point I'm like, okay, I don't think I can finish this. But yeah, I did the audio and it's going much better now, but I'm still not even 40 chapters in. Typically 40 chapters in, I know like, yeah, I like this book. I can't say that yet. This is only my second Allie Hazelwood book. And so if I finish this and I end up not liking it, then I think I'm just gonna gather and deduce that, her writing style is not for me. And that's perfectly fine. That's okay. I definitely wanted to give her another try after my Bride experience, and so this was my second try for her. So if this one ends up not going well, which it's highly possible that it's not going to end up being like a 4-star, 5-star read for me. If it doesn't, then I'll probably say, okay, well, I'm gonna hang up Allie Hazelwood because her writing's just, I'm just not the type of reader uh that she's targeting, I guess. So those are all of the physical books I read. Next, I read Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I also did this as a buddy read with my girls, and I love this book. This was a 4.5-star read for me, and I'm realizing that I like R.F. Kuang's writing. Now, this book is so layered, it's hard for me to like really give you guys a synopsis, but what I will say is that um, I'm noticing this the second book of R.F. Kuang I read. So the first one is Babel. Now there's this one, and I think that she does a theme of racism, colorism, classism, oppression, revulsion, revolution, and like war within her books. And so that's the gist of this one as well. So the FMC, she is a war orphan, and she's a war orphan, and she ends up wanting to take test this test to get into this military school called Senegard, and it is like they accept the best of the best, and she doesn't come from a well-off family. She lives in, she's just not someone they would accept into their school under other circumstances, and she ends up, to everyone's dismay and everyone's amazement and surprise, she ends up passing this test, and she goes on to this military school. Eventually war ensues, and this is like war ends up coming, and she ends up having some powers that she didn't know that she had, because again, she is an orphan. She knows nothing about her family. And so that whole dynamic, there's so much more, and I'm trying to remember off the top of my head to give you guys a synopsis, but definitely would recommend giving this a read. This is a part of a series. This is book one, and so I am looking forward to hopping back into reading books 2 and books 3. But I think at this point I may be able to say, you know if R.F. Kuang writes it, I'm going to read it. Her books are not easy reads at all. And this one was not an easy read, especially because there were some portions in the book that got really graphic with some of the, things that were going on in the war, and some of the things that the women specifically had to endure. And I had to take a step back several times. Specifically, there's a scene that I'm thinking of that's still in my mind because it was very graphic about what they were doing to these women. So yeah, it's not an easy read, for one, because of her writing, but for two, this book, I would say, it just had more um, kind of grotesque things happening within it. But if you're looking for a book with a badass FMC, female rage, just all those elements that I mentioned, this definitely would be the one for you. I do plan to do like a quick 2-minute review, like as a YouTube short. But yeah, so definitely enjoyed that one. The next one was an arc For those of you unfamiliar, ARC is Advanced Reader Copy. And so this is called August Lane by Regina Black. This officially releases July 29th. And this is about Black musicians within the country music space. And so we have August Lane, and this is a small town romance. This is a friends to lovers. This is, I'm blanking on all the tropes, but small town romance, friends to lovers, small town lovers, friends to lovers, second chance romance. Also, some heavier things in it as well, like addiction and abuse. So, definitely check your trigger warnings on this. But we have August as the FMC, and she is left behind by a man that she was in love with, her friend that she also was in love with. And she wrote a song, and he ends up having to move away, goes and wins a singing competition and ends up singing her song, but he never credits her as the original writer of that song. He stays away for years. They go years without talking, and suddenly he has to go back to the hometown that he has not been back to since he left, because he has the opportunity to go on tour with JoJo Lane, who happens to be August Lane's mother. They don't have a great mother-daughter relationship or super close relationship, because with her mother being a country music singer and being on the road, she just never really was there for her as a mom. So August was raised by her grandmother. So Luke, the MMC, he comes back to town, and eventually August tells him, like, you need to allow me to write you another song, or I'm going to tell everyone what you did to me, and basically, put you out there from the song that you've been singing all this time that isn't yours to sing without crediting me. At the same time, she also still realizes that she loves him as well. So there's that whole dynamic. I won't go any more into it, but I did really enjoy this book. This is my second read from Regina Black. The first one was called Art of Scandal, which I also enjoyed. So if you have not read that one, definitely read it. It's a little bit of a messy time, but all around a great read. The next book I read was called No Ordinary Love by Maya Ariel. This is her second release. This is a celebrity romance. So we have a celebrity singer and an MLB player. Now, the FMC, she's going through a very public divorce from her. Let's call him, he was abusive, from her abusive husband. And I don't necessarily mean physically abusive, but just abuse of power. And he continued to attempt to do that while going through this divorce as well. Her and Miles end up meeting to help his image as well, because he was going through some things. And they, long story short, end up liking each other and kind of falling for each other. And so while she is a very public figure going through a very public divorce, they had to keep their relationship kind of under wraps. Now, those of you who are old enough to be Mariah Carey fans, or old enough to remember, this was apparently loosely based on the whirlwind relationship between Mariah Carey and Derek Jeter. Of course, not exactly, but I guess she drew her inspiration from there. And so this is what we have. And my only criticism of this is that I wish that we got more of Miles and Ella together. I did enjoy their chemistry, but because she was publicly going through a divorce, and because she had the husband or ex-husband, soon to be ex-husband, that she had to be very careful with how she moved around, and as far as being seen even out with Miles, because there was a clause within her divorce documents and all of these things that he tried to do to further keep control of her. But yeah, I would have loved to see them be able to like love each other out loud, because most of their time spent together was never in public. It was like in hotel rooms or in his home, her home, vice versa. I did do a 2-minute review on this one as well. I posted it as a YouTube short. So if you want to get more, kind of just a more centralized synopsis of it, then you can find that there. Lastly, this last arc I read, it releases officially on September 9th, and it's called Blood Moon. This is giving, I really enjoyed this. It's giving Twilight, but make it black. So there are black characters in here. I mean, there was even a Latino character in here. I believe he's Latino. But I love the representation in this book, and I love that we are starting to get a wider range of stories that we can see, people of color represented in. So, the vampire stories and the fantasy stories are now starting to be a little bit more representative, and I'm really enjoying that. So, this is by Brittany Lewis. And definitely, like I said, Twilight, but make it black. So, if you are someone who grew up loving Twilight, Team Jacob, Team Edward, whatnot, I definitely would recommend that you read this when it comes out. And y'all, I'm going to show you what the book looks like, and it is gorgeous. And I think this is the first run print that's going to come out, but look how gorgeous this book is. I already pre-ordered it because I'm like, I like the book and I want it. Now, after reading it too, there are still some unanswered questions, but I realized afterwards that this is a part of a series. So this is book one. And so with series like that, there's book one always is going to leave you with questions that end up being answered in book two. So I am looking forward to book two, even though book one is just now going to be coming out. But whenever book two comes out, I will be reading that because I really enjoyed this read. And I did I do a review on this? I did a review on this on my Instagram, but I may try and do like another quick 2-minute review um on my YouTube short or whatnot. Then that is the end of my April reads. And I am sorry if my lighting is a little weird in here. It's a rainy, overcast day, and I feel like my lighting is just not right. I have like in my home, I have like a lot of natural light, a lot of windows, and it's great. But when it's an overcast day, then it's overcast inside, no matter how many lamps or lights or anything I turn on. So, um, yeah, excuse me for the weird lighting today. But let's get into my May TBR or May hopefuls. Um, so first up, we have Gold Coast Dilemma by Nana Malone. This is about a Ghanaian heiress, and she basically has to choose between culture and identity or a love connection. This man obviously is not of her culture and not of her race. So we have multicultural, interracial romance here, but we also have second chance romance, billionaire romance. We have workplace romance, boy obsessed, and so apparently, Nana is betrothed to another man. She is getting ready to be married to another man, a man that her mother approves of. And apparently that ends in tragedy, some type of tragedy. And she has this stranger that she's met that she loves, but she has to choose if she wants to forego her identity and culture or give love a try. This puts me in mind a little bit of Ties That Tether, although she was Nigerian, but again, it was the same, concept of culture, identity versus like going for the man that you love, even if he's not of your culture and identity. So, not the same book, of course, but kind of that premise makes me think of Ties That Tether as well. So, I'm really excited to get to this one. Thank you so much to Nana Malone and Valentine PR for sending me this copy. Then we have If You Stayed by Brittany Cherry. I think this book is so cute. But this is a second chance romance. And second chance romance is becoming one of my favorite tropes. But if you know anything about Brittany Cherry's writing, it can get emotional. So this might be a little bit of an emotional read. But apparently, these were like friends to lovers. And then a tragic accident happened that separated them. And now, the FMC, she ends up, moving on with her life. She's trapped in a loveless marriage, raising a child, and Gabriel, her ex love, returns and stirs up feelings that she thought were gone. Okay. And so she wants obviously to push him away and for those feelings to not be there because again, she is a married woman and has children now. But apparently, she can't deny what she's feeling for him. So I don't know. Hopefully this isn't gonna be a cheating trope because I don't really enjoy a cheating trope, especially when it comes to marital cheating. But we shall see. It says Gabriel Sinclair will forever be my first best friend, my first kiss, my first love, and my first heartbreak. The accident that nearly took his life ripped the memory of me from his grasp. And for the last few decades, I've let the guilt of that one terrible night keep us apart. It took me years to make peace with the fact that he would no longer be in my life. So when he shows up as the architect for my new home, my world's tossed upside down. Now I'm trapped in a loveless marriage, raising a child, while Gabriel stirs up feelings I thought were long buried. It feels like my soul is waking up after years of being in a deep slumber, and my controlling husband will do whatever it takes to keep us apart. I know I should push Gabriel away to protect him from the shadows surrounding me. Yet I can't deny the hope that blooms whenever he's near, the chance that he might remember me, that we can reclaim the chapters of our story that we lost. Nothing good could come from us, but I can't help but wonder what will happen if this time he stays. So it sounds like Homegirl is in a real dilemma because she is married with kids at this point. So I love second chance romances. I do love Brittany Cherry's writing. So we'll see. If you're not familiar with Brittany Cherry or even this book, she is the author of The Mixtape, which is super popular emotional read. She also has a Christmas book called Holidays and other books like The Air He Breathes and I think it's called High Low, something like that. I'll put it up on the screen. But this is her newest release. This just came out on April 22nd. And thank you so much to Sourcebook Casa for sending me this gifted copy. Then we have Rebel Witch. I absolutely loved Heartless Hunter. That was a 5-star read for me. That was one of my favorite reads of the first quarter. And so this is the second book in the duology. And I'm so excited to hop back into this world and see how this goes. If you want to see a quick review on Heartless Hunter, I also posted that as well as a reading vlog on Heartless Hunter. Then we have The Chess Master. This is a indie book from an indie author named Robert Blaine. This is his second book. I actually read his first book, which was called Sand Blood Magician, and I thoroughly enjoyed that, enjoyed the writing. It was an engaging read, and it was different from what I normally would read, but I'm so glad that I read it. And so this is his second one called The Chess Masters. And apparently a shipwrecked woman finds herself as a prisoner on a mysterious island where two kingdoms, light and dark, are waging a bloody war to kill each other's kings. As the lives of a peasant boy, a sultry king, and a vengeful knight intertwine amid the horrors of war, Florence realizes that the only way to save herself and the human chess pieces from their impending deaths is to assassinate the masters, the unseen sorcerers manipulating the island from a supernatural chessboard. But the masters are always one move ahead of her. If Florence doesn't play her greatest game yet, the death toll will rise and she'll learn the true meaning of sacrifice. This is by Robert Blaine, available on Amazon and also on KU as well. So, of course, my light would die on me when I'm almost done, but the show must go on because I have to film when I can. So, this is a time when the house is quiet, I'm by myself, and so I'm just going to keep on pushing through, light or no light. Next up on my May TBR is The Matriarch by Miss Tina Knowles. I am a huge Beyonce fan. And so, by way of me being a Beyonce fan, I'm also a Tina Knowles fan. And I'm intrigued at the woman who is able to birth and raise two extremely beautiful and talented women. Of course, I'm talking about Beyonce and Solange. I've actually started reading this already, and I'm doing this as an immersive read with the audiobook as well. I am on chapter 8, and so far I'm really enjoying this. And y'all, I'm so excited about this. This is the best part. First of all, I think the cover and the book is gorgeous, the end pages, but it's a signed copy. So I'm super excited about that. So far I am enjoying this. And it also has like pictures inside. I'll show you guys. Hold on. So she has these nice like pictures inside, and of course there's gonna be pictures of Beyonce and Solange and just pictures from her um, marriage and things. And here's the Beyonce and Solange pictures. So she has these great colored pictures in there as well. So I am really looking forward to reading this. I love Mama Tina, so we'll see how this one goes. So far, so good though. And then I'm hopping back into the Legendborn cycle. This is Oathbound. At this point, this is the last book. I'm all caught up, but there will be a fourth book. She confirmed that when I met her at the signing of Oathbound. So this is book 3. Again, I'm doing this as a buddy read with my same girls. And so I've been loving this entire series. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how Oathbound is. I'm going to be sad though, because I started the Legendborn cycle late. And so I didn't have to wait, when it was a cliffhanger. With this not being the last book, I know it's going to end on a cliffhanger. And then I'm going to have to wait, a year plus for the new one to come out. So So those are the last physical copies I have. The rest of the books on my May TBR are actually ARCs. Again, those are advanced reader copies. And so I will be reading an ARC called The Art of Exile by Andrea May, and I'm going to give you guys a little synopsis on that. This releases May 13th, so I have, 12 days to read it. This releases May 13th, and the description says Legendborn meets Da Vinci Code. I'm like, okay, that sounds kind of interesting. I'm intrigued in that because obviously I love Legendborn. I've also read and watched Da Vinci Code as well, so I'm curious to see how this is going to work. It's a light academia novel. It's fantasy about a teen who infiltrates a secret school for the descendants of exiled Renaissance masters to steal their long lost arts and sciences. Unlike the high achieving members of her family's secret society, Ada Castle has mastered nothing but the art of falling for the wrong guys, but now she finally has a chance to prove her worth. She just needs to gain access to a hidden school that her family has been trying to locate for generations. Granted, she accidentally goes on a date with the recruiter first and is temporarily abducted, but Ada manages to secure herself an invitation to the Genesis Institute, where descendants of exiled Renaissance masters practice long lost arts and sciences. The school is a utopia of sustainable technology, medical advancement, and myths come to life, yet they are unjustly hoarding their resources. Ada goes undercover to steal their innovations for the rest of the world, but Genesis nurtures her creativity and challenges her views, and she can't help but to fall for the school. And maybe also for her frustratingly off limits recruiter turned mentor. Ada's tangle of lies start to unravel when one of her new friends goes missing. To rescue her, Ada is forced to work with a dangerous and dangerously hot classmate whose suspicions threaten her cover. And when the information she shared with her family puts her missing friend and all of Genesis in peril, she would have to choose whom to betray, the family she loves or the school that helped her find herself. So this is a YA novel. Thank you so much to Simon Teen for sending me this gifted copy. I cannot wait to read this. But yeah, this sounds extremely interesting and I'm intrigued by it. So again, that releases May 13th. I'm going to read it and come on here and do a quick review by way of a YouTube short. So that is arc number one. And then we have, I'm going to read you guys the synopsis of the other arc I'm reading. The other arc is by Ebony Liddell, and she is the same author that wrote Love Radio. So if you guys are fans of Love Radio, this is another one from her. And this releases officially on May 20th. But it is apparently a compelling and complex romance about love across cultures. Follows a black girl and a brown boy. I think he's from Nepali, and who find themselves in each other while pursuing their passions the summer before college. Deja's got a plan. She's the first in her large family to go to college, so she wants to study chemistry and sell natural skincare products like the ones she already creates from plants grown on her family's North Carolina farm. It all starts with the Onward Bound summer program at the University of Maryland, the summer before school officially starts. Raja's got a dream. He's traditional Nepali. Parents want him to study engineering and settle down in an arranged marriage, but his passion is art and he wants to open his own tattoo parlor one day. In the meantime, he's apprenticing at a tattoo shop in College Park, Maryland. When Deja walks into the shop where Raja's working, they both start crushing hard over the course of the summer. They fall more and more deeply for one another. But the closer they get and the more their lives entwine, the more they find that dating someone who doesn't match your parents' expectations is harder than they ever imagined. Can they bridge the divide between the vision their families have for their futures and the lives and love they are starting to feel like destiny? So that is This Could Be Forever by Ebony Liddell. I cannot wait. I've actually already started that, but I'm only like 2% in. I like literally just started it yesterday. So I'm currently reading this one and The Matriarch and finishing a deep end buddy read that I only do at nights. So that's arc number two. And then I'm also going to be reading Happy Land. Happy Land already released. That released on April 8th. Thank you so much to Berkeley for the gifted copy of that one. But I will be reading that on my Kindle as well. And this apparently, if you are unfamiliar with Happy Land, I will give you a quick little rundown again on that one. This is historical fiction, so if you're a historical fiction fan, it's probably right up your alley. If you're not, who knows? Try it out anyways. You might end up liking it. But oh, that's on sale. Okay, 16. That's on sale from what I've seen it. I was trying to get this book on Independent Bookstore Day. 3 bookstores, none of them had it. It was sold out on all of them, and of course they did offer to order from me, but I'm like, Nah, I mean, I'm trying to get it right here, right now. But none of them had it, so that's a good thing. I get good for the author, and apparently that's showing me that it's a well liked book. But this one is the incredible story of a real life American kingdom, her and her family's ties to it. This is from the same author who wrote Take My Hand, Dolan Perkins Valdez. Absolutely love Take My Hand. If you have not read that, I definitely recommend giving that a read. But the last one is an arc also that releases June, and I am blanking on the date at this moment, but I will put it on the screen. It releases in June. It's by Danielle Allen. She's the same author of Curvy Girl Summer. So if you read Curvy Girl Summer, this is like a second book in that series, and this is called Plus Size Player. So that is my May TBR, guys. Comment below. Let me know what you're planning to read for the month of May, or if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them. Thank you guys so much for listening to my rambling on, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.